Welcome back to another Crypto Gorilla End of the Week news video where we cover the biggest news stories in all of Web3. We have a ton to talk about today. Every day in this current climate is filled with entertainment. It's much funner than it was during the bear. However, as usual, nothing in this video is financial advice. It is just entertainment. And if you haven't already done so, would you kindly hit that subscribe button? The crypto markets have been an absolute roller coaster. If we look at the 7-day chart for Bitcoin, you could see it has been extremely volatile, ranging between 35,000 and almost 38,000. So this is definitely not a market for the weak-minded. And funny enough, the rise to the recent all-time highs of almost $38,000 was just after the news that the SEC delayed their decision on another Bitcoin spot ETF, which you'd think the exact opposite would happen. So just imagine what's going to happen when the ETF is finally approved. And although there's a chance it could be a buy the rumor, sell the news type of situation, on the long run, it's going to be uber bullish. Now, as for NFT volume, it is continuing to dry up since the all-time highs of over 28 million in trading volume of last weekend. But despite that, we're still seeing some great plays on the secondary market, as well as some good mints. We just had the L3E7 mint, which was a highly anticipated gaming mint, a low supply, a free mint, and it ran all the way up to 2.6 ETH after Dingaling swept the floor. So I'm glad to have gotten this collab very early for Gorilla Labs. It was a really nice win for our members. Moving into brand news, we have Disney announcing that they're going to be launching their very own Web3 project, which will consist of Disney, Pixar, and Star Wars characters in the form of digital pins. Now, when I first heard digital pins, my first impression was like, why? And don't get me wrong, I'm happy they're here. I'm happy they like Web3 again, but pins seem extremely random. However, people have pointed out to me that the physical pins that you can collect at different Disney theme parks are apparently super sought after, and some of them trade for thousands of dollars depending on the character that you have. So I was happy to hear that. It means there's potentially a market for this type of product, because I don't want to see another Web2 brand show up to Web3, fail, and then just say we're the problem and leave. Now, this project is launching in partnership with Dapper Labs, which is the company behind Top Shot, as well as the Flow blockchain, which is the chain that Disney is going to be launching this project on, which makes sense because it's a lot easier for Web2. So I'm excited to see how this one plays out. If you do want to sign up, I'm going to link their website down below. I don't know if this is going to lead to whitelist or anything, but if there's a chance that we get an advantage, it's worth doing in my opinion. Continuing in brand news, we have Amazon partnering with Polygon as well as Mocaverse to launch their very own accelerator program for Web3 ideas. Now, this program is going to consist of hackathons, masterclasses, mentorship, access to their extensive network, as well as financial resources. So if you have an idea that you think is good enough, I'm going to put a link for this in the description down below. Next up, we finally saw the Trump NFT Gala happen at his place in Florida for holders who purchased 47 of his digital trading cards, which was roughly $4,700. And despite the large supplies for both of these collections, because there is a Series 1 and a Series 2, they are surprisingly holding up really well. The Series 1 is currently over $200, and the Series 2 is just under the mint price at roughly $85. And I could definitely see both of these collections running during the next election cycle, as well as some derivatives of his opponents. So this is definitely one I'm going to be keeping an eye on. And I honestly regret not buying 47. One, they were flippable. If you bought them, you could have been way in the profit. However, for the content alone, attending this dinner and being able to film content with Trump, the man himself, I think that would have been legendary. Moving into gaming news, Parallel is finally coming to the Epic Game Store to join the likes of Shrapnel and Illuvium to launch their open beta. Now, with this announcement, we saw their token price break through $6 just before correcting back under again, as well as their avatar NFTs breaching over 0.7, which is a 3x from where they were sitting just 2 weeks ago at 0.25. We also got some brand new merch dropping from a few NFT brands. First, we have this Overlords jacket, which is the brand behind Creeps, and the jacket itself is quite expensive at 1,200 euros. We also have this Swoosh t-shirt, if anybody cares, and I do think we're going to see more and more merch dropping, especially as we move into the holiday season. And then we also saw Artifact dropping these Ghost Edition dunks, which they look awesome in my opinion. If you own the dunk NFT or a Clonex, you are going to be able to guaranteed purchase them, so you still do have to pay for these shoes. However, they will be available to the public, but the supply is going to be limited. Next up, we saw LooksRare announce the mint date for their Infiltration game, where you'll be able to build up your own squad and compete for prizes both in their Looks token as well as in Ethereum. Now, if you haven't been following along with their campaign, they released some tweets where if you figured it out, it took you to this website where you were able to tweet out your own response. And on the website itself, they did mention that there's upcoming prizes. So while we don't know the size of the prize pool, we don't know the supply or the price of this collection, we do have a mint date. So it's going to be minting next week on November 23rd, and the game is going to be starting a day after on the 24th. Next up, we did get a leak by Luca showing off Pudgy Penguins arcade machines. Apparently they're going to be launching 2 different machines in 2024. One of them, which is featured in this video, is going to be a crane game where people are going to be able to win Pudgy Penguins merch. And the other one, which we haven't seen yet, is going to be a 2-player runner game. Next up, Courtyard is currently holding a free card pack giveaway in collaboration with Chimpers, where you can pull a ton of Pokemon cards that are all physically backed. And to enter, all you have to do is like this tweet as well as quote tweet your insightful reply. So if you want to try your luck at winning this, I'm going to put a link for it in the description down below. Next up, in token news, SFUND expands their reach by going cross-chain, allowing holders to bridge from BNB into ETH mainnet as well as Arbitrum, which I feel is a great move on their behalf. Most people that I talk to on a day-to-day basis are ETH-centric. So this is going to give them access without them feeling like they have to jump through a ton of hoops. And what this essentially means is that you're going to be able to stake and get IDO access on ETH and Arbitrum, as well as take advantage of their farming pools. And just for full disclosure, I am a proud Seedify partner. Next up, we have Inspect, formerly known as NFT Inspect, dropping this tweet showing that they're gearing up to launch their token this quarter. So it does seem like we're going to be getting a ton of airdrops. We have this one, we have the upcoming Blur airdrop, and there's also a ton of speculation around the Layer 0 airdrop happening in December. Next, we saw Memecoin go on an absolute tear this week, from 2 cents all the way up to 4 cents before crashing back down to 3. But congratulations to anybody who bought in or who held from the token generation event. Now, I'm not sure if the pump was due to an overcorrection in the price or if it had anything to do with this tweet by Ray, where he mentions some farming advantages for Memecoin farmers and future tokens, essentially acting as a form of launchpad, which allows you to not sell your meme and take advantage of future token opportunities. Next, we had HGE, also known as 9x9x9 on Ethereum, but HGE is his Solana persona, posting a tweet saying, "Do not send anything to 222.sol." Now, this is something we saw a few people on Ethereum do, and they managed to raise millions of dollars for absolutely nothing. And of course, if anybody who has a presence does this, they are going to be able to raise some money. And at the time of filming this video, HGE has raised roughly 15,750 Solana, which is just under $1 million. So a really nice payday for this tweet. He legally doesn't owe anybody anything. I assume there's going to be some sort of token attached to this, which explains why people are willing to send their money. And just for those of you wondering, yes, I did send Solana across the internet to a random wallet belonging to a person I have never met, in hopes that they give me more money in return. So welcome to Web3. Next up, we had ZachXBT pump the brakes on the Grok pump, which I believe had hit a market cap of something like $180 million, which is absolutely insane. But it took a dive after he tweeted that the founder behind this token was a scammer. Now, there was a temporary recovery after the crash. However, it is currently sitting at around 64 million market cap, which, to be fair, is still insanely impressive for this type of token. But it is kind of sus that apparently this only happened after it was available to short on centralized exchanges, which to me is a little sus. I know we like Zach and he does amazing work. He uncovers rugs, he helps people out, but one has to wonder, is he or somebody in his circle taking advantage of this information and knowing when this tweet is going to go out? You're going to crash the coin because it's easy money. And I understand it's not ethical, but already when you post this tweet, you're going to hurt a bunch of people's wallets because a ton of people bought into this token. People bought in at the high, and now you're crashing it, and it's probably never going to get to those highs again. So you're already doing damage to people. I don't know. If I had this info, I would take advantage of it. So one has to wonder if he or somebody around him who knows this information in advance is taking advantage of it. Which brings us to our next news story, which is the fake XRP Blackrock ETF filing, which this was on Monday, but it honestly feels like a month ago. But we indeed did get confirmation that this was fake. It did cause a temporary pump in the price of XRP. But once again, I ask myself, do all these major news publications who they have no idea if this information is correct, maybe they're the ones who made up the information, but they have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of followers, and they know if they tweet something, it's going to affect the price of crypto. So I'm wondering, like, are these people taking advantage of it? I 100% would. I'm not judging them, but it piques my curiosity. So whenever I see this kind of stuff, I'm super skeptical, and everybody always retweets it because everybody wants to be the main source of news. But you got to ask yourself, how much money are they making on the back of these lies? That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If I forgot any news stories, let me know in the comments down below, and maybe I'll put it in a future video and give you credit, of course. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, would you kindly hit that subscribe button, smash that bell notification. It really helps my channel reach a new audience when you do that, because it tells YouTube or Twitter, hey, I like this content. Thank you for watching the Crypto Gorilla. Peace.